Scattered and peeled. The Second Egypt. Did you know that the Atlantic slave trade is in the Bible? And did you know that the Atlantic Ocean was once called the Ethiopian Ocean? For centuries, the waters that carried millions into bondage were known as the Ethiopian Sea, a name appearing in classical maps and writings until the 19th century. The historical journey across these waters was more than a passage. It was a prophecy unfolding, an exile marked by suffering foretold long ago. Join Pastor Derrick's Food for Thought as we travel across the Ethiopian Ocean and uncover the hidden truths of the transatlantic slave trade, a story of loss, survival, and divine prophecy. The Second Egypt. For beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, the prophecy unfolded, a nation scattered and peeled, stripped from its homeland, forced into bondage. The covenant had been broken and judgment declared. The Second Egypt was no longer the land of pharaohs, but a place across the seas where the stolen would suffer as Yah foretold. Deuteronomy 28:68. And Yah shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And no man shall buy you, meaning no redemption. In ancient days, a family member could redeem another from bondage, but Yah declared this exile different. The law once said, Leviticus 25:48-49, they retain the right of redemption after they have sold themselves. One of their relatives may redeem them. An uncle or a cousin or any blood relative in their clan may redeem them. Or if they prosper, they may redeem themselves. But Yah was determined that they would serve the full 400 years. There would be no escape until the appointed time. Genesis 15:12-14. As the sun was setting, Abram fell into a deep sleep, and a thick and dreadful darkness came over him. Then Yah said to him, Know for certain that for 400 years your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and that they will be enslaved and mistreated there. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves, and afterward they will come out with great possessions. Elaboration 1619 and the fulfillment. 1619. In 1619, a group of enslaved Africans, around 20, arrived at Point Comfort, Virginia, now part of Fort Monroe National Monument. They were traded for supplies by an English privateer ship that had captured them from a Spanish slave ship. Anniversary 2019 marked the 400th anniversary of this pivotal event, prompting widespread commemoration and reflection on the history of slavery in America. Significance. The arrival of enslaved Africans in 1619 is seen as the start of institutional slavery in British North America. It is also a reminder of the complex and painful history of race and inequality in the United States. A nation against you, the ships cut through the waves, carrying the sons and daughters of Zion into oppression. The land they were forced into was foreign, ruled by a merciless people. Deuteronomy 28:49-50. Yah will bring a nation against you from far away, from the ends of the earth, like an eagle swooping down, a nation whose language you will not understand, a fierce-looking nation without respect for the old or pity for the young. These were the enslavers, the rulers of the Second Egypt. They spoke a tongue unfamiliar, their banners marked by the eagle's wings. They showed no mercy, breaking the backs of the young, silencing the cries of the elders. Isaiah 18:1-2. Woe to the land shadowing with wings, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go, ye swift messengers, to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. After 400 years, did judgment arrive? If Genesis 15:14 is true, Israel served its 400-year sentence and judgment must follow. Then came the COVID-19 pandemic. The coronavirus pandemic, caused by SARS-CoV-2, began with an outbreak in Wuhan, China in December 2019. Soon after, it spread across Asia and rapidly engulfed the entire world by early 2020. The World Health Organization declared the outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on January 30th, 2020, and officially labeled it a pandemic on March 11th, 2020. The timing of these events raises questions. Was this the judgment foretold? Did the world witness a global reckoning immediately following the 400 years of suffering? The words of the prophets live on. Jeremiah 30:4-9. These are the words Yah spoke concerning Israel and Judah. Cries of fear are heard, terror, not peace. Ask and see, can a man bear children? Then why do I see every strong man with his hands on his stomach like a woman in labor, every face turned deathly pale? How awful that day will be. No other will be like it. It will be a time of trouble for Jacob, but he will be saved out of it. In that day declares Yah Almighty, I will break the yoke off their necks and will tear off their bonds. No longer will foreigners enslave them. Instead, they will serve Yah their God and David their king, whom I will raise up for them. One day, the scattered shall return. One day, the peeled shall heal. The covenant is not forgotten, and the promise still stands.